Benzema. I think they have changed basically for Chelsea. I don't think they believed in the 4-3-3 against their so they've adapted it. It gives them a chance to get themselves in as a captain the second.
Well, there is nothing quite like this occasion. Welcome to the UEFA Champions League final. The best two teams in Europe this season preparing to go head-to-head for the crown. This is
Modric and Toni Kroos, they are fantastic when we work together, and I think they're trying to get they're trying to get a 3-on-2 against us in that area, against our Conte, who's unbelievable, and Jorginho. And I have a suspicion that Mason Mount may have to drop in there a bit during the game. They're already overthinking it, both managers, but that's no shot, because when you get to this rarefied level, you do think too much. But the fact that we ain't changed, and they have, they can play 3 at the back. They've done it before, but it's not the regular way.
Zinedine Zidane smiling, comes and shakes hands with Thomas Tuchel down there. They're both grinning. Thomas has had a shave. Zidane has always had a shave on top of his head. Real beat English Oppo in the last round. They were knocked out by English Oppo last season. Manchester City, of course. They are 17 games unbeaten across the two competitions they're in, and they are well in the title hunt, despite a very disappointing and grumbled about goalless draw at the weekend with Betis. Thankfully for them, Atletico then went and lost on Sunday, so they're only 2 off top. They're in good form. Shutting out opponents has been the name of the game for Team Tuchel, as we see Sergio Ramos in civvies watching on. Clean sheets in the 21 games under Thomas Tuchel. Keep another one here and get an away goal, yes please. Real Madrid are going to kick off. Pat?
I think we have changed our shape. I think we've gone 5-3-2. I really do. The Mounts come back and we're going to play 2 up front. We are totally matched up. We're going to play Werner and Pulisic up against because we have to match them in midfield. Lots of things. But to us, I knew Mount was a problem against.
And he's just gone in and won a physical challenge. I'm very pleased to see the Dutch referee didn't whistle for it. I expected, with this being a Champions League game, that he would blow. I don't think it was a foul. Jorginho pinging one over the top, but Pulisic, who was nearly in on the stretch, the flag was probably up anyway, and Thibaut Courtois, all in yellow, away to our right against his former club. How could he? Is obviously the Real keeper. Hazard had a comeback cameo from the bench, but as I'm sure you're aware, up trees since swapping Chelsea blue for Real white. Tuchel and Zidane on this near touchline. Chelsea all in blue, including the socks, playing from left to right, and the Galacticos, if we're still calling them, all in white, although the most Galactico of all of them is their coach, who's in shot right now.
They're really intriguing there. Toni Kroos got the as if to say, how are they doing? What are they playing? I think he got it now. But they're going to be looking in the first few minutes at each other to see, where everyone's lining up. I was just wondering where Modric would play. Would they play 2 up? I actually think what they're doing is
spent that long in some very attack-minded teams, being able to do essentially what he likes. Let the likes of Ramos and co behind him over those years deal with the gaps he might leave. It's popped out of play here on this near side. Thomas Tuchel is already frantically talking, wearing a long blue coat. He always tends to go a little smarter on the Champions League nights, not the tracksuit. I've noticed that now. Well, he completely shut down Atletico, and the question is, are these a different kettle of fish to deal with, or can he do the same job on them? I mean, they really never look like scoring across 4 football matches, those 4 games that were played against those 2 oppos.
I mean, I've watched them over the years, Real Madrid. They just keep themselves to the Champions League. They just do. They've got enough players to think, well, the league's the league, but the Champions League is what we'll be remembered for. And to be honest, at that club, that's what you are remembered for. I mean, I've just seen on the side of their in a minute.
Werner running down the middle, 30 yards, little pop ball towards Pulisic, keeps it going. That's Piliqueta, right side of the box. This is Pulisic again inside the box. It's tight, he pulls it back to the far stick. Ben Chilwell, can he lay it back? He can. This is Mount, and he's pushed and pushed wide, this time by Casemiro, and it comes back to Jorginho, and a moment of promise just ends with Chelsea possession in the centre circle here with Thiago Silva.
Yeah, but we kept it though, and Werner's, wasn't it? He just looked fearless there, running straight at the defence. Surprised how much room he got there. It's a shame when the cross did eventually come in. It came for a height for a volley for Ben Chilwell's right foot. Sadly.
That's coming through the back of Mason Mount there. Varane stepping in with that, and he's the one who's... No, it's Eder Militao, excuse me, and he's the one rolling around because he knows he's gone right through the back of Mason Mount. Honestly.
You're lucky if he doesn't get a yellow card here.
He did get Mason's elbow in his face. I might add, he did the terrible foul first. Mason Mount did not know about that.
It should have been a yellow.
It should have been a yellow. That was a bad challenge. Here comes Ben Chilwell down the left. Tries to keep it in via Carvajal. He did keep it in. Real trying to emerge with it. This is Varane over by his own byline. And he is just doing it there. Timo Werner didn't catch him out, but let's keep an eye out for that big Varane who's been linked with Chelsea and various others. I think he's got an end of contract coming relatively soon. Is N'Golo Kanté in the middle? What were you saying about on their sleeves? It's got there the amount of times they've won it.
Yeah, and I was wondering what the number 13 was in the middle of the star, then realised 13 champions of Europe.
Indeed.
That's what they've got.
Well, I mean, the absolute obsession with getting La Decima, the 10th, that Mourinho so wanted to deliver, and Ancelotti eventually did. And then they just went bang, bang, bang. Even when, as you say, in the league, they weren't in some of those years that good. Here is N'Golo Kanté now down the right-hand side. It is odd but they do. You're right. As a club, they pretty much prioritise winning Europe over domestic, which I would never understand. But there you go.
Yeah, but if you've done it 13 times and twice as many as anyone else, if they win this year, it is what the club is about.
Benzema in front of it all. Do you know? I was reading earlier today. He has scored 16 consecutive Champions League campaigns. That's incredible.
I mean,
that is amazing.
It is incredible. You think he's not getting a game, and they still manage to win tournaments and get to finals without him. Olivier Giroud does a decent job for them. He's been an incredible player. He's not always comes across as the most likeable human being you've ever met.
No, and not that rated either, I don't think, for someone who's continued to be Real Madrid's centre forward for all this time. It's funny that people wouldn't immediately list him in the great centre forwards in the game, would they? And yet he's still there, and he's having a great year. He's got 21 this year. Might be on the receiving end of it. Here he is, Vinicius. It's a sort of 1-2, and Vinicius is quick enough to get in there ahead of Hazard. Then Marcelo into Benzema, left edge of this penalty box. Down to our left in his pink boots, it's Marcelo back to Toni Kroos, dead centre, 30-odd yards out. Now Eder Militao on the right wing. Chelsea back and in shape. We've seen this done very well over the years, and Mason Mount apparently did not foul Eder Militao there. Good, but Timo Werner will be whistled for that one on Casemiro. 8 minutes 0-0. Chelsea all in blue, playing from left to right. Real Madrid start rebuilding. Here's Marcelo. Get the ball forward, and Benzema does some good hold-up work in the box. Gets to the byline, the cross is off Thiago Silva, and Edouard Mendy jumps and catches. No harm done.
Looks comfortable, doesn't he, Thiago Silva? Remember, he had that long injury. Came back, of course, it was a ropey start against West Brom. And at the start of this, bad ball by Kanté.
Giving it away to Vinicius. Jorginho's in with an interception. Real still... That was very out of character and totally unnecessary. He wasn't even under that much pressure.
It didn't look.
Might be a counter-attack here for Mason Mount, who's going to run away from Luka Modric. He won't catch him. Mount down the left channel, 30 yards out. Werner in the box. Pulisic in the box. Here is Pulisic and Werner! He was 4 yards out, and he's hit it straight at Thibaut Courtois. Mount did brilliantly. Pulisic did brilliantly to nod it back. First time finish. He's got to score, Pat.
A lot of big chances this season that he's missed. And that's up there. That's the most important one that he's missed for us there. If you're in front of the goal, not difficult. It's in front of your foot. You've got to find the corner. It's not a great save by Thibaut Courtois. He just happens to be standing there.
Just at him, yeah.
Big miss. But I'll tell you what, he's getting in there again.
Away goals. Chelsea so good at getting them as well, especially early. He's gone for goal here. Timo from 20 yards out. Timo versus Thibaut, part 2. Oh, but Mount did so well, and Pulisic's nod back was perfect, Pat.
It's, you know, what a brilliant move. What an absolutely brilliant move. He's so concentrated in getting it on target. He doesn't give it any power. He doesn't go for corners. He just concentrates to get it on target. And that's the right thing to do, but 4 yards out, you've got plenty. You can take me think about it there. It's a tough one, but I'll tell you what, here's the upside. We created a great chance there.
And they'll be scared by that.
And by the way, the break, one of their back three on that 3-on-3 was Luka Modric. So, you know, talk about organisation. That didn't look great to me there. Chance. We've had the break right at the start when Timo Werner went through the middle and looked dangerous. And right now, at the moment, is anyone else? Mason Mount was looking fantastic.
Brilliant again. He's got it to Pulisic and Conte. And Azpilicueta slides in a right-footed ball from this near side. Sliding in was Werner. That one he couldn't quite get to, but it's a lovely idea. It's a whisker off being excellent. Then Azpilicueta's won it back brilliantly. Vinicius is moaning about something, I think, to his teammates, not the referee. Good spell for Chelsea. 11 played. Playing from left to right. Should be ahead. Created the better moments in this game.
Well, you talk about one of the problems with Chelsea this season is we've not scored a lot of goals. We've not created a huge amount of chances. I'll tell you what, we look as if we can create chances tonight. I'm playing at this level. If Real Madrid push on to us, they have not got the pace. Varane used to be a lot quicker than he is just now. He has not got the pace to stick with Pulisic or Werner.
Azpilicueta's got Marcelo pinned back, little flick from Conte. This is Pulisic, it's lovely again. Mason Mount, who's having a brilliant game. Chilwell from the left, disappointing cross, it's off Danny Carvajal. It'll be a corner though.
We're torching them.
Absolutely all over them here.
We're absolutely, to be honest, they've hardly get into Chelsea's box at the moment. And weirdly away team, there is a handball there. I mean, it's at the top of his arm, but it's a penalty kick for it. They look all over the place. They look like a team that have decided at the last minute, we're going to play 5 at the back, but we're not going to practice it first.
Always amazes me this to match up with someone who's been doing it for an amount of time. It's so rare that it works. Right, Chelsea corner, far side. Mount, who as usual has just been on it from second one here, will take right-footed. It's Varane, I think, amongst the crowd, who got a massive solid head on it. And it's all the way back with N'Golo Conte.
You know what everyone will be? We're on top of the game now. We're the better side here. We're creating the best chances. We actually look livelier and sharper than the opposition away from home. And the classic line is, we've got to make it count. And it would be great if we could, because you know they'll grow in confidence if they do manage to break and score a goal. But at the moment, it's for pure energy levels, we're all over them.
And there are gaps. Every time anyone on midfield is anyone in midfield is on the ball, they've kind of got options and they might be able to run with it. And that smacks to me of a team of exactly like you said, who are playing the new system and they haven't quite sorted out where I'm supposed to be yet.
Oh, not a great ball through the middle.
Pulisic here is onside, left of centre, there's no flag. Goes round Courtois, can he finish? Yes, he can! Away goal for Chelsea in the 14th minute. And it's completely deserved. Chelsea have been all over Real Madrid in the early stages here, and as long as back to poop this party, and there's quite a bundle on this near touchline. Honestly, Real's defence being torn.
They're a shambles. We have to say that first of all. But even if they're a shambles, we need to make sure that we can get beyond them. They're trying to play a high line. There's nowhere near the pace to do that, and there's no chance that Pulisic is offside.
Well on.
Not a hope in the world. And he's just taking his time, taking it at Thibaut Courtois. He was the coolest man in this ground. By the way, there was nearly a handball on the line there. Would that have been a sending off and a penalty kick? Varane nearly put his hand up.
He thought about it.
He did, but it doesn't matter. We've got 1-0 up, and it's... Oh, what a phenomenal start we've had. I'm only disappointed we're not 2 up at the moment.
I was just going to say, this is Tony Rudiger clipping under no pressure, a little 30-yard ball over the top into all that space, and I was just thinking then, Pat, the replay. It reminded me very much of when you and I were at Anfield. And do you remember we were saying anyone coming out from the back or in midfield here is going to be able to just pressure, just clip a ball over the top, Mount and Werner will run onto it, and everyone, even and go, making them look like Jorginho. And it's the same.
If you don't get close to them now, that is the wonderful thing about, you know, Chelsea, the way we play, and the fact that we've got lots of players that we can go and get to bring in and do just as good a job, is that we can keep this tempo up. I am absolutely unconvinced that Real Madrid can play this tempo for 90 minutes. I mean, look at Modric when he tried to chase Mason Mount there. It was bordering on embarrassing. He is a brilliant player, but he's 35.
Yeah.
And he wasn't lightning beforehand.
He was not. Pulisic has just got chopped, by the way. We'll know now the record amount of chopping by the former Pepe in the last game. 11 times he was fouled. He's scored here. It's his 5th Champions League goal. I'm just looking at it again, and I'm not taking any credit away from Tony Rudiger, but it shouldn't be that simple to just... Because if he can do that, any player on this pitch can do that. It's just chip a ball into a bit of green grass under no pressure.
Yeah, he tried to get a little bit of backspin. I mean, it's not quite Tony Cesc Rudiger, but it's that kind of ball that he's trying to play there. And do you know what? He's done it well enough. The Pulisic kept another chance.
Near side, right wing, Ben Chilwell will take it. Chelsea playing from left to right, 1 up already. It's not remotely flattering, apart from perhaps to Real Madrid. In it comes, and away it goes via the head of Varane. Good distance on his header again. And 1-0 Chelsea. We've seen it a lot. Get an early-ish goal and see it out. Now, it might be different. This is Real Madrid. They have some good players. This is the Champions League semi-final. There are levels of nerves and pressure that are not common. It's not the same as West Ham or whatever, but
I think, Ben, I think there's a bunch of players out there that have looked in the eyes of the opponents and think, I've got you. I think Mason Mount looked in there and said, Luca, try and stay with me. I don't think you will. And I think N'Golo feels the same.
And Cesar Azpilicueta has just made a run to go and be centre forward to receive that.
Well, he's got his eyes set completely on Marcelo. That's it. He's saying, right, okay, can you stay with me? Marcelo doesn't want, he wants to be a left back as much as I want to be a left back. I mean, he just doesn't want to be there. So that's what Azpi's doing. He's saying, right, I'm going to keep on asking that question. Leave me if you want it.
He is he's a less fit Marcos Alonso, is what Marcelo is now, as in
he is a
potentially hugely dangerous in the Oppo's half, but he ain't a left back, that's for sure. Here's Casemiro in the middle of the Chelsea half.
Hey, he's centre forward right now, Marcelo. He hates playing at left, he's left wing back tonight, but he never covers, he never helps his left central back, ever.
And Azpilicueta is more than now-see enough to know that. The ball on the right side, it's only one. We're not getting ahead of ourselves, but it's just been such a dominant 18 minutes. Real Madrid did actually concede a lot of chances to Liverpool in that second leg. It's only Liverpool's poor finishing that made that not be. Poor defending from the Reds in the first game and poor finishing in the second. So it's not like Real were absolutely brilliant against Liverpool. They didn't need to be. Actually, it was Liverpool's shortcomings rather than Real's quality that got them through that. They were really ropey in their group. And as we might have suspected, the Spanish league isn't all that this term. We've seen Atletico, who are still leading it over 2 legs, do nothing to Chelsea. Here's Marcelo. Vinicius, really speedy turn on this near side, but Azpilicueta recovers. Infield it goes to Casemiro, who incredibly from central midfield is their second top scorer, just the 16 behind Karim Benzema. They've really lent on him. They've actually been a more pragmatic team under Zidane. His Kroos, deflection on the cross, easy for Mendy. This is his 10th Champions League game, Edouard Mendy, by the way. He's conceded 1 goal. Isn't that amazing? Against his former club Rennes, a set-piece header, the game that Olivier Giroud scored the winner right at the end with his own header. Incredible. I mean, he just doesn't concede goals.
This is a dead easy competition, this. I don't know what all the chat is about. What's the big deal? Well, let's not speak too soon. I mean, he said, he's actually not been tested in any way whatsoever tonight, has he, so far?
Or by Porto, or by Atletico Madrid. I mean, there was a half a save from Joao Felix, I remember.
The one thing I would say about this game tonight, look, we've started on fire, we've pushed it, we've tried to get an early goal, and we've got the early goal. They will have periods of dominance. They will have periods of certainly control of the ball and maybe even pressure. We're going to have to deal with it. We're going to have to, figure out that you have to live with. We've figured that out. We've done that since Thomas Tuchel.
Exactly. I was just going to say the snowballing confidence of having dealt with any side trying to apply pressure, whether that's Man U, Liverpool, Atletico, Porto.
Didn't I think I was...
Man City at Wembley. You know, there's a top opponent who would
Well,
next to nothing.
Funnily enough, it was the West Ham game in particular I was watching, and I kept on thinking the same word: maturity, absolute maturity of play. Now, considering quite a young team, you know, in some areas of the team, to get that together so quickly, that's pretty impressive. By the way, hold up there for offside. I'm not too sure it was. And by the way, it's pouring down with rain now.
20 played, the ball back with Thibaut Courtois, twice a Premier League winner, won both cups, won La Liga twice with two different Madrid sides. That's pretty cool. And a runner-up in the Champions League with Atletico to Real, for whom he now plays, when he was on loan from Chelsea.
Yeah,
just a bit confusing.
Atletico Madrid, the nightmares they've had with Real over the years in that competition. Oh, it's been horrendous.
Rudiger. Now on the left, far side, Ben Chilwell, infield to Mount. 21 minutes gone. Not a threat yet on the Chelsea goal. Away goal again. 6 of last 8 away games before this one, so 7 of 9 now. Chelsea have scored a first half goal, which is pretty impressive.
It gives you a chance to control, you know, really gives you a chance to deciding your tempo, your decision making. Do you want to push it a little bit? Beautiful play from the back.
Lovely triangles out from the back and now down the right. N'Golo Kanté into Pulisic, who's off and running again at the Real central defence. Pulisic to the edge of the box. Oh, hit that. Werner will do very well to keep it in, which he did, but he could only hook it back for Real's defenders. The build-up to that was so brilliant, and then the pass at the end of it was terrible.
Well, the thing about Pulisic, I know this is an odd thing to say when you're attacking, he had too many options, which, you know, is a pretty good thing. Now, he chose one of the wrong ones, or he chose the right option, but didn't actually manage to make the right pass in that situation there. Again, we're getting into that space looking dangerous.
Casemiro on the right, just deeper than him is Benzema. Rain absolutely hammering down. It is so weird not hearing supporters. Here's Benzema, 25 yards out. Good left-footed shot from out of nothing. Their closest shave, and it hit the outside of the post. Their top scorer, that close to getting what would have been a totally undeserved equaliser. Would have been a hell of a goal, though.
Well, they will have that period of time, won't they? To be honest, Mendy's got very close to it. I don't think he'd be saving that. It is welly towards the top corner. It's actually bobbled just in front of him. I have no chance. Mendy's getting that. No hope. Hits the post.
Serious technique.
Got a wee bit lucky there, but we've had great breaks, and we're on another one.
N'Golo Kanté now. Werner in front of him had to sort of get out the way. Then he wasn't expecting the pass, and it's a goal kick. That's another moment gone.
How many times have we got into that position where they have left this massive gap? I mean, you'd almost expect someone like Casemiro to sit in front of his back three. There's a gigantic gap in there that we are running into time and time again. We're taking it in turns. I mean, sometimes it's Pulisic, sometimes it's Kanté. There's just acres and acres of space. It's a dream scenario to run into that situation. And at this point in time, I mean, this game could be 2-1, 3-1 already.
Just for another parallel, Pat, with that game we were talking about at Anfield, you were saying he should have seen by 20 minutes here, Klopp, this is happening. He's got to change it now or it's going to be worse. I don't understand why he didn't that night, but more importantly now that Zidane isn't now, dealing with this now. Okay, guys, because if this goes on another 10 minutes, Chelsea are going to be 2 up,
they could be out,
or 3 up, and then it might be over. Again, it's so easy. Here goes N'Golo Kanté down the right. Huge gaps. It's like Chelsea are playing against 8 men. He's into the box. He pulls it back here for Mount, for Pulisic rather. Chilwell with the right foot. Mount couldn't touch it. It goes wide. Great Chelsea on top and 1-0 up. They could be out of sight already. Got to take advantage before Real surely sort themselves out, or maybe they won't.
Yeah, I mean, you're asking the question about what do they do? it's just a mess for them just now. So
go back to what you know, go for at the back.
Have they got the personnel to do that at the moment? I suspect they will go for the 4 at the back. The problem we've got, if they go to 4 at the back and Chelsea stick with 2 centre forwards against their 2 centre backs, their 2 centre backs aren't quick enough. They have no cover, so they need to get someone to sit in front.
Could
there.
it be worse than this?
Well, I think Casemiro, as I'm watching it just now, look where he's standing as I speak. I think he's moved back there. I think he's thinking, right, okay, I need to get back into that area.
Deny that space.
Is missing. Time and time again. He can't keep up with N'Golo Kante.
We've not seen Modric and Kroos on the ball. I think they've had a shell-shocking 25 here. The funny thing is they're 6 inches from being level. This is their competition. They seem to get a bit lucky. They were extremely lucky in the groups. They snuck through, winning the group on the final day. They should have lost both their opening 2 games. Into home and away in the middle that helped them.
They struggled in Shakhtar, didn't they? They really struggled in Shakhtar.
And they should have lost to Gladbach as well. Here's Toni Kroos. Long searching ball to the far side. Dani Carvajal first time in field, but Mason Mount is there to stop it. Getting to Luka Modric. And Luka Modric is thinking, God, can I not be... Oh, the referee's in the way of a lovely long ball that Mount was arrowing towards the run of Azpilicueta. That'll be a Chelsea ball. Careful, Danny Magali. Probably hurt that.
Yeah.
Absolutely tipping down.
Can't be on the plane then. Apparently that's where the rain falls in Spain. Sorry about that.
Mainly on the train, in ground, which is where this is.
Once again, when Mason Mount got the ball there, he had 2 players around him. Modric, and honestly, what I was saying to you before, he's looked up. You can't stay with me. You actually.
3 seconds later, he was taken out away. There's a card coming out for Vinicius here on Pulisic. Oh, hello.
He's got his red and his yellow in his hand.
Well, what's it? Yeah, it's yellow. He's just scaring us for a moment there. It's a chunky challenge in teaming on the slide. Vinicius flying in. Pulisic was tracking back. He did get the ball first. It's
a bit harsh, actually.
It's a bit of scissor. Yeah. It's the sort of challenge you love to make when it's wet and slidey. And Sergio Ramos is watching on here with his mask and tattoos and bling. Would have made a million of over the years.
Yeah. But to be fair, you're right. It is the conditions there. It's a bit of a dive in. And if classic is, and it's what I hate to see, he's given that. See if there's one that's half as bad as play in a minute, he's getting a yellow. Oh, brilliant play again.
Pulisic just turning away. It's 4-on-4. Mount, 25 yards out. Here's Ben Chilwell. Oh, can't cut it back. These are great chances. Really good chances to stretch this lead.
This is one of the most open games I've seen in the Champions League.
It's very un-Tuchel.
Yeah, it's an elongated 5-a-side game. It's extraordinary.
Vinicius left of centre. Toni Kroos left edge of the box. It's off Christensen. Now have a corner.
Oh, well, I don't know. There won't be many neutrals listening to us two. But for the neutrals, what a game of football this is. It's all over the place. I mean, it's a cracker for us because A, we're leading, we're having the lion's share of the chances. We feel as if we need to convert another one. We really look, because we're getting in amazing positions time after time.
You look at them like this and you think, how are you even here? Here's Modric, 30 yards out. Because they've got quality to stick the ball in the net when it matters is the answer to that. Varane at the far post, nodded across Militao. Benzema spins and hits one into the roof. Their top scorer on the mark to bring them level. They absolutely don't deserve it. And Chelsea have conceded a rare goal under Thomas Tuchel. Mendy is beaten. Ramos is celebrating and waving his players on from the touchline. But Chelsea must make hay while the rain falls because Real at the back are all over the place. But it's 1-1.
Yeah, look, you didn't get the words out of your mouth. The reason why they are where they are, they've got players and generally one. They can actually put the ball in the net in a special way, and he did that brilliantly. I mean, it goes to the back post there, and they get the header across. Aspi tries to put them across, but defenders in there, but it falls to him, and that is top quality finishing. He just puts the ball away from the defender, and it's not an overhead kick, but he's caught it on the volley, saving that. Torture to watch for Chelsea because, you know, we've been so far in front, but hey, no heads down at this point in time. We can create more chances. Confidence from that ball.
Let's see. They're trying to G one another up. Benzema has 21 in the league and 6 in Europe now, and he's just taken the Marcelo throw here. Yes, he took it nicely. Behind him, they look an absolute shambles, though, and that's what I meant about taking those chances earlier. 3-on-3s and 4-on-4. Great opportunities. Werner and N'Golo Kante, Pulisic playing the wrong pass, that sort of thing. There for the taking.
They are there for the, yeah, they are there for the taking. I don't think that we won't be panicked. We're still in a really, really good position just now, and we know now that we can do this. We know now that we can cause them problems. They are not going to sit back and wait now. I don't think they're good enough to try and do that anyway.
Just nodded it down for himself, swiveled on the 6-yard line and volleyed it into the roof. He's hit the post, and the other 29 and a half minutes have been Chelsea's. Mendy under pressure, clears. Pulisic jumps with Nacho in the centre circle. Real all in white, playing from right to left. Chelsea from left to right. Here's Jorginho keeping it moving. Just Conte taking it between the lines again. It's just so much space for the likes of Pulisic and Mount here. Here they go again. Must take advantage. Ben Chilwell left side, back to Mason Mount.
Well, at least they've got a few defenders back this time, which they haven't had in the past.
Corner.
But you're right, the ease, I mean, you just don't see this in the Premier League, do you? You know, Chelsea
work so hard to get in those pockets of space. Right here, they're just wandering in there and getting past it.
And I'm trying to see, Casemiro's got a little bit of a hit here. I'm trying to see, he's actually just been winded, yeah.
Got it right on the sternum, solar plexus, whatever it is. So yeah, see a replay of this Benzema goal. It's lovely.
It's very old school, isn't it? Now, cross from the left, back post, nodded down, and he does the centre forwards. But
it's quite Kerry Dixon or Mark Hughes, that.
I'd go Mark Hughes, yeah, absolutely.
Far side, corner, no fans, tons of rain, not the Bernabeu, all very odd, and a crazily open game of football, which is very un-Tuchel-like, and it comes from Mount. Courtois catches well and bowls it out to this near. Where Vinicius gets running. Oh, Jorginho dived in and missed him. Vinicius too nippy. Chilwell suddenly is the covering right back, with everyone getting back from that set play for Chelsea. This is Carvajal. Right side, Benzema clips it. Kroos at the back of the D, might think about heading it. He does, he curls one. Well wide of the Mendy goal from 20 yards. But they're waking up. Zizou has got a Mac on. He looked so neat before. He now looks like anyone would in a downpour, like he needs a mug of something warm and a towel. Yes,
and he's got a towel.
He has got a towel as well as a soaking wet cagoule.
Yeah. To be fair, if you're going to have get rained on that much, your hair would look terrible, but he doesn't need to worry about that side of it either. So it'll probably still look quite cool at the end of it. This is a weird first half of football. It's a brilliantly weird first half of football. To be honest, I still have to tell you, it's enjoyable. Yes, it's a bit stressful as well. And, if we just had that killer instinct, at the end of this game, at some point, Thomas Tuchel is going to say, we need to take chances, we need to have the killer instinct. Hey, it's not finished yet. We just keep on creating chances, and you never know.
Marcelo now in Chelsea territory. Trying to get away from Jorginho. He's turned up as a centre forward again. Here's Modric in the centre circle. He's barely had touches to do what he's doing now. Look around and probe and play a little ball like that towards Vinicius, but Chelsea have won it back. And again, space for Mason Mount to run into Real territory. Left, Chilwell outside him and more company coming. Chilwell, his hair soaking wet and looking jet black under the lights.
Yeah, but as usual, not one of those hairs out of place.
No.
It never is. Do you know what's an interesting thing about this? Jorginho has hardly kicked the ball. And the reason for it is he's not needed to, because we've missed it out. We've missed that whole control in that area out. We've just went from back to front, or to back to the kind of attacking midfield immediately. And it's worked an absolute treat tonight.
Kroos on the centre spot. Cut out by Werner. Good hard work from him. Here is Jorginho into now Conte. Yes, Conte's been on the ball because he's been maybe running a little bit beyond. So he's got onto the ball in more space than usual. We see Azpilicueta make that run again. And Jorginho didn't clip it over the top. And there was about 70 yards of space. And normally I wouldn't that today, but I mean he'd gone and it was worth it.
And it was on, and I tell you what, there was no way that Marcelo was going to be able to catch them there, because he'd lost them for a few yards, and the rest of his defence didn't come back and help him. They just stayed in the line 5. Hard defending once again. Aspie spotting it. Pulisic spotting it. Timo Werner's, but they're all spotting it. There's a massive gap there.
That's how the goal happened, and it may well have been another one right there and then. Banking on the skipper to produce a nice bit of control and compose. More from Pulisic, I think, as Nacho plays it back to Courtois, way there to our right, and left-footed, all in bright yellowy green. Thibaut Courtois pings it long. Bit of head tennis either side of the halfway line. It drops for Azpilicueta. Now again, N'Golo Kante takes it between the lines. There are balls on left and right. He's played it right. This is Pulisic cutting it back into Varane. Back to Pulisic it comes by the byline. Can he find a Chelsea teammate this time? Is too high for Werner. Out of play on the far side. Back throw to Real Madrid. But again, I mean, not having to work that hard to get in.
I would suggest, since Thomas took over, this is the most times we've actually got behind any defence at all. And it's in Champions League semi away. And it's against Real Madrid.
Totally agree.
Stunning. And again, we've got to see we're playing well. It's really, I mean, it's a good performance. It's lively. We're playing at a tempo that they hate. They absolutely hate this. They do not want to be closed down. They want in the midfield to get time in the ball, turn around, look up, spray passes around. Kroos and Modric, they're not used to this. They really are not used to this. And it's one of the big things about the Premier League game. If you can do that and give them no space, they cannot stand it. And they don't actually perform that well.
Someone once said they don't like it up them.
Well,
here is...
do you know that phrase was in mind all the way through that sentence there? I managed not to use it just.
It's Mount out to the far side bench. Well, there's 4 in the box. Mount again. Left of centre, Jorginho takes over, about 30-odd yards out. Bit of Dad's army for you. Speaking of which, is Thiago Silva, and there's a huge deflection on his shot. He went for it from 30-odd yards out and then some. It'll be a Chelsea corner. That wasn't a bad-looking effort, that, Pat. Has that hit Varane? It has hit Varane, and I think that was heading on target.
It was, and it's one of those ones in an outlet tonight where it's going to span and skid and move. You've got to follow them in. And we know how good Thibaut Courtois is, but it doesn't matter. And in a night like this, follow them in. You never know what can happen.
Rain hammering down. 8 minutes plus stoppage time to half-time. The half has flown by. It's been the weirdest half of open football. It's headed out by Casemiro, then slips as he was about to clear it. Behind him was Eder Militao, who did clear it. Thomas Tuchel here, ball boy, just nice little bit of control. Flicks it up into his right hand on this near side beneath us. Absolutely drenched he is.
But also looking very calm and assured.
Yes, very calm. One hand on hip, ball in the other hand, and he just throws it to Cesar Azpilicueta on this near side. Heavy touch from Pulisic, who then had a 50-50 with Benzema, out of which comes Marcelo with the ball. Pulisic took him down and will be cautioned for it. Down, but maybe he knew what he was doing. He's not complaining.
Did I not mention to you just a few minutes ago exactly what was going to happen with a foul that's going to be half as dangerous as the previous one? To be honest, there's no way that he's going to run away from you, Christian. So don't make that dive, and no need to do it. I mean, the last thing we want, is to be playing as well as this and do so well, is to end up with the 10 men. We're playing against clever players that are capable of doing that sort of thing.
Exactly. It's been happening for Chelsea of late. Ben White, Brighton, sent off, and Balbuena the other day at West Ham.
Which was a joke.
And it hasn't happened to Chelsea much. Twice this season, and both very costly, actually. Christensen, when it was 0-0 with Liverpool, sent off and lost the game, and obviously Thiago Silva, 1-0 from, and here's Jorginho. Generally been very good at keeping discipline. There's no Ramos to get sent off for Real Madrid, or Pepe these days. He tried his best with Porto in the last round. It's just calmed down for the first time. Confirmation of the Pulisic yellow card. The rain is incredible.
It's weird sometimes when you play in rain like that. For a few minutes you're fine, it's okay. Then after a while you're a drowned rabbit. You're just thinking, is this ever going to stop? And there's some players, I have to say, I love playing in this weather. But some players, their shoulders get down, and things like the rain gets in your eyes, weirdly. when you're trying to go and play something with windscreen wipers. It is that bad out there tonight. But to be honest, it usually leads to a pretty good and open game because mistakes are made.
Danny Carvajal just nursing a little knock there. The white Real Madrid kit has gone almost transparent here. Varane takes over on the halfway line for them, and he plays a long ball out towards this near side. It's a good ball to Vinicius, who pops it back. They look more of an attacking threat than they did. They still look absolutely wide open at the back, though, and that has to be good news for Chelsea. Is that I'm not sure that was a foul by Kroos on Pulisic on this near side, right by the Zidane dugout, but it's being given. It's one of those where the player just kind of makes the referee's mind up. They do love showing us this
match directors from Madrid, I think.
I think he might be, yes. They're showing us the Benzema goal again.
Well, they're closing down a little bit higher up the field for the first time in a game, and they've done this in the last 2 or 3 minutes. So, there is a suspicion that Zidane has actually made a little bit of a change, because I mean,
so he should, otherwise he's not doing his job, right? Because they were getting battered,
bordering on ridiculous before that. So they've got a little bit more to play, but they said earlier on, they're at home. Real Madrid, they will get a period of play like this. We just have to make sure that, you know, we don't lose another one in this situation. Keep on closing them down. Don't be naive.
Brilliant, calm, chest down of the ball by Thiago Silva in his own box to Christensen. Played beautifully round the corner, and here's a break again. To Werner, right of centre. Mount is approaching the box. Werner's gone for goal at the near post, and it's well wide.
He's disappointed himself because, I mean, Mount gets to the back post there. He is marked. He's not free at the back post. He is marked, and he's a bit disappointed. He doesn't get the ball across there. But Timo Werner, you know what he's like. He's a striker. He wants to go and smash it towards the goal. You'd almost put up with that if it's on target, but he sliced across it, and that's a poor finish. He is getting into some positions.
He is. I know, it's such a quandary, isn't it?
But at the end of this game, if Timo Werner scored 2 goals, it's fine. We don't mind.
No, that's absolutely fine.
Absolutely.
It's a reasonable sized if. His last 2 goals have taken 36 games.
Hey,
but
give it an assist, though.
Here's Conte trying to skip in down the left. Eder Militao slides in this wet weather. It's come back to Mason Mount here, left of centre. Ben Chilwell wide on the far side. The Chelsea left wing, all in blue, as Eder Militao comes over to pinch it off N'Golo Kante.
That was a classic moment of this game there. Militao gets the ball off of N'Golo Kante and goes to go away, stands, puts his head up, and then there's N'Golo Kante standing in front of him. He's not used to that. He's thinking, oh, I've won the ball, I've got my space. No, you haven't. Not against N'Golo Kante, but not against this Chelsea side, because Mount will do the same here. Jorginho will do the same here. Not to maybe to the same level, but nobody's going to give you easy possession for this Chelsea side.
Azpilicueta fouled by Marcelo. Referee says no, up you get. Real Madrid might try a counter here as Benzema gets it to Modric, whose first time ball was a good one towards Kroos running down this left. Maybe it skipped, maybe it was overhit, but it's out of play. Thankfully it'll be a Chelsea throw, and well, Marcelo's trailing leg took out Azpilicueta.
Yeah, still a foul. That's definitely still a foul, because, you know, you have to be in control of your body. You can't take a player out and not get the ball. So that's a clear foul. So the referee missed that one, and he shouldn't have.
No, he's looking right at it. Azpilicueta right next to Zizou. Takes the throw. Kroos mopping up on the halfway line. Here's Eder Militao. You think of recent games, folks, that you've watched, whether that's West Ham or Manchester City, even at Wembley, and how difficult it's been, or how disciplined other teams have been denying Chelsea space to play, and the likes of Kante, Mount, how hard they've had to work to find pockets of space.
And that
has not been the case here.
Nothing like it. And I suppose it tells you a wee story about, you know, people saying Chelsea not creating that many chances, but teams have been working incredibly hard against us and making it difficult for us. I think just Real Madrid just expect everyone to give them space. I think they come up and they've got their white shirts and they know...
You know who we are.
I don't think you're allowed to tackle us. So having said that, they've come back into it now and decided they need to be part of it, you know, so that's exactly what they're doing just now.
Now, Nacho on this near side, trying to play in Vinicius. It is 1-1. It feels harsh on Chelsea, frankly, and fortunate on Real Madrid. Cannons off Pulisic on this near side, right by Thomas Tuchel, who has now given in to the weather and put a Chelsea cap on so he can see things properly. I don't blame him at all. And just in front of him, Nacho now has it, the left back, or left wing back should I say, for Real Madrid. They got Varane, and they've got Eder Militao. Dani Carvajal on that far side who's just given it to Luka Modric.
This is what they've been waiting for. I mean, Real Madrid have played this game thinking, well, we play against most teams and they tire. You know, they can't keep up, the pace, and they're expecting this to happen. So I think they'll be looking at us thinking, right, this may well be our time. I'm not sure. I think Chelsea have got plenty of energy to keep at that level for a good deal longer.
Because as you say, it's a fast week out. At some point, maybe that takes its toll, and you might get more tired. But
well, it will be for us the end of the season. That's why the Premier League's difficult for us this season, because we've got 8 or 9 games in this month coming, and the rest of them have only got 5.
Well, the half-time whistle has gone here. There ought to be 100,000 screaming, whistling fans at the Bernabeu. Christian Pulisic with the opening goal. Timo Werner amongst those guilty of not adding to it, it has to be said. But Karim Benzema hit a post, then scored a lovely equaliser. He's their in-form man. Chelsea have an away goal. It is 1-1. It's flattering to Real Madrid, if anything. It's half-time in leg 1, and it's fascinating.
Real Madrid.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure, Dave, to be here. Very lucky indeed to be broadcasting to millions and millions of people, let alone watching this fantastic game.
Can he put them in front? And he thwarted the attack with a masterful tackle. And a look at the Chelsea starting 11. N'Golo Kanté starts alongside Mateo Kovacic in central midfield. And they line up with just the one striker looking to do a bit of damage. Mount. Oh, good vision. Real chance. Kovacic! And a goal for Chelsea! They've hit the front in the Champions League final.
Oh, they've got the noses in front. Can they keep it? Well, here's the replay. It's a really lovely through. ball, but then there's still plenty to do from here. Under all sorts of pressure from the defender, he just about keeps him at bay and finishes with aplomb. Great goal.
Well, the action underway. Can Real find a response now? It is the game that the world truly focuses on. The Champions League final. Only two teams left in the quest for European glory. Who's it going to be tonight, Lee?
Well, it's a toss of a coin for me. It's a really big...
Chances on. Must score. And a goal! I'll tell you what, they're going to be very hard to catch now. Name on the trophy, maybe.
Well, when we see this again, it is a wonderful effort, a solo effort. Got to question the defenders. They just back off him, and he takes full advantage.
Slightly different vantage point in terms of the goal that was scored.
those sort of opportunities, I think Kai is a seriously intelligent footballer, and I think he would make great use of that space.
Well, everyone is available, by the way, folks, apart from Kovacic. Pretty remarkable to be here at the, 27th of April and have all bar one fit in the whole squad. Real Madrid do not have that. They're playing all in white from left to right. It was just going up towards Vinicius there, and N'Golo Kanté has cut it out in the middle. Here's Casemiro, and then Modric, Dani Carvajal across to Varane. So they've got Militao and Varane, and then Nacho is just pushed up there almost as a left back. Have they gone four now?
Yes, they have.
And with Marcelo essentially being left midfield now, and Nacho left back.
And I think what they've definitely done is the most obvious thing. They've got Casemiro to settle that bit deeper.
And maybe even Modric with him, so 4-2-3 maybe. And Cruz or a 4-3-3. But whatever it is, it's not wing backs.
No, it's not the same. They couldn't do that again.
Yeah. So Zidane has made the change. It doesn't always work, best laid plans and all that. N'Golo Kanté's popped it forward here. Tight angle for Werner, who strikes into Eder Militao. It'll be a Chelsea corner. Couldn't have done much more than that on that occasion.
Yeah, same place though. Guess it. It keeps on getting there. I've worked with plenty of strikers over the years, you know, and you just want to keep on saying the same thing. So get in there, they'll eventually start happening. I mean, that's a tough angle. That getting a corner, that's probably the best you can probably do. But he's getting into the spaces. When the ball breaks, it's amazing how often he finds himself alone in the box.
Handy habit. It was a Marcelo misplaced pass that cannoned back towards him. Corner goes short on that far side into Jorginho from Mount and back to Mason Mount. Crossing opportunity from the edge. Oh, he's absolutely walloped it all the way out of play on this near side.
Got a bit excitable there.
He did. I think he's had too many Weetabix.
I mean, it was a good short free kick. Jorginho was lively for it, drew out the man. He just got a little bit. He wanted to put a lot of whip on it. The thing is, if you've your route to go and attack it, you concentrate and whip. You really do try to whip it, and now and again you just catch it too well, and it's like that great drive that ends up going 50 yards behind the pin. It's one of those ones.
Real have it, ball on the far side, halfway line. Nacho in the left wing back now. And Azpilicueta scrapping half on the floor. Just
wait a minute.
Was there a little...
Yes, there was a kick
bit
out.
Of afterwards there. Referee may or may not come back to that. We shall see Thiago Silva across meanwhile to just mob up in case Vinicius was going to break in there.
Do you know what I was saying beforehand about not seeing so many passes by Jorginho? Stats at half-time, most passes in the match, Jorginho. He just keeps it going, doesn't he? He ticks it and he ticks it over and he ticks it over, and you kind of almost don't notice a lot of the time.
Well, clearly. Yes, I didn't notice it.
No, did I? I exactly didn't see it at all.
Now here he is again, on the centre spot.
I think he'll get more of it because Casemiro's pushed a little bit further back, and I think he'll get a lot more control.
Yes, I don't think surely this half won't be as open as the last. I say that, it's just been turned over, and Vinicius has played it down the left, and here's Benzema, 25 yards out. Christensen better get his tackle in. Actually, he doesn't need to. Benzema has put that miles high and wide, and he's looking down at the turf as if it bobbled. Maybe it did, given his season. Let's just have a look. I think it did. I think he's just got right underneath it.
Sometimes with a big goalkeeper, you just think, I need to do something extra special. I mean, I haven't said that. He's unlucky in the first half when he hit the post. But just a moment there where Jorginho caught in possession. It's not been like him. I don't think it's happened in the game so far. That's the first time. Fortunate not to be punished. Do you know what?
Christensen here just coming forward trying to slide it in for Werner.
Christensen's just run away from Vinicius who thinks, nah, I don't fancy chasing you. We're so used to all our players working hard and chasing, and I'm amazed at how many Real Madrid players just think, nah, I'm not going to catch you. I'll just leave that one.
It's something that's just demanded, I think, by English fans, more than it is by other fans. Is that?
It's partially that, but Pep Guardiola's team to do that as much as anyone else. Remember, the Barcelona team would have done that as much as anyone else. It's a kind of... It does almost feel like a little bit of arrogance, or an inability to some players to be able to do that for 90 minutes.
Because they don't often have to, or don't often choose to, whichever way round it is. And you're right, there's been a few times where that I don't really fancy it label, you could have stuck it on one of the players with a white shirt. Here comes Tony Rudiger, left of centre. Chelsea in blue playing from right to left. And N'Golo Kante now just making another breaking run through the middle there. They've clearly, right from the start, been knowing this is going to be a possibility for them. We've seen it with the goal and with other nearly moments. Even Azpilicueta was doing it in the first half.
They do this odd thing, but they've got quite a high line, haven't they, Real Madrid? But they panic every time anyone makes a deep run, and N'Golo's done it, Pulisic's done it, you know, Mason Mount once or twice, we know Werner does it, even Aspi's been doing it as well. We know where the danger is, you know, and it's, you mentioned it right, Liverpool had the same problem, as I say it, N'Golo Kante almost does it again.
Pulisic away from the challenges, passes back to Rudiger. Reece James and Olivier Giroud are out having a little warm-up. Here is Rudiger, that's not a helpful ball, but fair play to Timo Werner for getting back. Actually, it was a bit of a hospital pass, that 50-50 at best, but he did well to get in there. It's back with Rudiger again now.
What says Rudiger?
He's just tried one right on cue towards Azpilicueta, the centre forward. Yes, you heard me right, that's a clip from Marcelo on Christian Pulisic.
I do not think Marcelo wanted to, you know, allow Pulisic to turn there and have a run at him. To be honest, he just shoved him in the back a little bit, but there wasn't a great deal in that there.
Mount. Weird to Zinedine Zidane, but running away from him and Luka Modric now. Strong defending there from Eder Militao. He wasn't letting Timo Werner get the better of him there. Toni Kroos rolls it into the path of Marcelo left side. He puts an early ball in towards the Mendy box. Benzema will get there, but almost over by this corner flag, and he's got two for company, and he's put it out of play under pressure from those two, Chilwell and Rudiger. Chelsea throw for Ben Chilwell in the left wing-back spot on this near side.
An intriguing moment from Marcelo there. He gets the ball on the left-hand side and he's cruising forward, and you're thinking the old Marcelo would run forward, go at the byline, try and take two players on. He just gets rid of the ball as quick as he can. He doesn't want to run that extra 40 yards. I think he's breathing a wee bit just now, Marcelo. I mean, fabulous player, but up and down the wing all night long at his age, not sure.
Out and out left wing now. They do have a bloke called Hazard who's decent in that position, who is just warming up, I hasten to add, and so too is Marco Asensio, who plays a lot in different attacking positions from time to time. So that's an option too.
When he scores another player, you're talking about real quality.
Rodrigo.
Yeah, I mean, they have got real good options in attack, which they may go to, and also a little bit more youth in that attack. I think both managers have went for experience at the start of this game, but as it goes on, I think they might want some legs in on their side as well.
There's still more than 2 hours left of this tie. Maybe a lot more than that.
Yeah, I have to say, the first 10 minutes of this second half have been nowhere near as mad as the first 45 minutes. It's
this is more what you would have expected,
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It slipped through here, or attempted to be slipped through for Vinicius. It's read well by Thiago Silva.
Well done.
Chilwell out.
Yeah, no, well done, Chilwell. He tried to go inside there. He had 2 or 3 options. They were all closed off. There was a temptation to try and dribble his way out, and he thought, do you know what? At this point in time, get rid of it. And he was right to do that. There were no options on left for him.
Real's throw taken by Carvajal, and it's all the way back in their own half with Rafael Varane.
I just love another chance to see, you know, Pulisic and or Werner get a run behind the defenders, because, you know, that defence looks maybe a little bit tighter now that it's a back four, but it's still no quicker than it was before.
Pulisic in the centre circle. Well, Real say he lost his footing. There's a delayed whistle coming in from the ref, and it will be a Chelsea free kick.
Well, there's no big complaint from. I mean, the giveaway is Marcelo's saying he slid through, and well, anyway, we've got the free kick.
Nearly 56 played. It's Jorginho, 40 yards out, right of centre. Now on the far side, it's Azpilicueta. Back infield to Christensen, back to last man, Thiago Silva on halfway. Next to him now is Tony Rudiger, who goes for another one of those chips, and Courtois is out to grab it.
Again, he's tried backspin on it. You know, backspin's hard enough, but when you've got a skinny pitch, it just doesn't work. You know, worked in the first half that we got the ball through and we got the goal of it, so if you try it another 5 times and it comes off once, it's worth it.
He does have, I think he does suffer a little from delusions of Beckenbauer grandeur, doesn't he? He does have games, Tony Rudiger, and to be fair, he has games where he pulls them off quite a lot, but he does have games where he goes for it a lot.
To be fair, it's the right ball tonight. It is the right ball, and it's just being able to. I mean, we're so used to having Cesc Fabregas who would do it and always find the player. You know, not everyone's like that. So, you know, I don't mind him keeping on trying that. We need to go beyond as often as we can.
There's a counter-attack on here for Real Madrid. If Modric can get the pass right, he didn't. Thankfully, he's now on his backside. Coming through midfield is Jorginho, who can play those balls, but is playing them, I think, less and less as the matches progress. And I liked him playing those early balls because he's really good at them.
He'll play it when it's on. He'll play it when it's on. I don't think it's
Sometimes
on.
Sometimes he doesn't, no. I mean, right now, absolutely, it's not on. But I don't think he's playing them as often now when they are on as he used to. Maybe...
well, certainly the last season, the season before, he was the season before, he was the second top in the league in through balls.
There you go. Here's a long one in search of Chilwell, who just enough eased out by Carvajal, the kind that you could say he knew what he was doing, but the kind equally that won't get given as a penalty. It's Varane here in his own box, and then back now with Eder Militao.
It's a grown-up game of football now.
Yes, very
good. As opposed to the first half, which was a mad game of let's all go and chase the ball and forget about positions, particularly from Real Madrid, it has to be said.
I expected KG and a couple of chances all night long. I expected basically what we've seen in the second half, but we did get a very, very out of character and very lively first half.
Do you know what? What I said right at the start, they looked like a team who decided at the last minute to go 5 at the back and didn't know how to play it. It's exactly how they looked. And they've gone down a much more normal sort of system for them, and they look much more comfortable, Real Madrid. Much more comfortable.
It does make me wonder about that, what you were saying at the top of the game. Coaches may be overthinking it because it gets to this point. If you do something that generally works for you, why would you change it particularly? I remember Koeman coming with his Everton side to play Conte's Chelsea, having never done it, and he went for wing-backs because Chelsea had been going well with wing-backs, and Chelsea won 5-0. It was one of the greatest performances I've ever seen here at the Bridge by a Chelsea side, and he was scratching his head, and you thought, well, you haven't been practising this. They've been doing it for months, and they've been winning every game with it, and no wonder it happened.
Well, can I bring you a little bit closer to the current time? Why does Manchester City go with 2 centre midfielders against us? They've generally, they've done it once or twice, but that's not the way they've played. They either go with Fernandinho or Rodri.
They did
both of them. You think, why are you doing that?
There goes N'Golo down the right. I'm sure he had his heels clipped there. Toni Kroos is going to be booked, yes. Now, he did win the ball, but only after he had just had a nibble at the back of N'Golo Kante's heels there. Kroos carded, so that's him and Vinicius and Christian Pulisic, and motoring. He also had a little bit of shin and a bit of arm for good measure as well as the heels. So right-sided free kick, not within shooting range, folks, as we approach bang on the hour mark. Good 40 odd, maybe even 50 yards from goal, just a few yards in from the far right touchline. Chilwell and Mount are there, so there's a left and a right-footed option, and there's a mass of players in blue and white in that Real Madrid D down there to our left. Not raining so heavily now, by the way. Well, doesn't take it. Mount does. It's nodded out down to the back of the D. And Rudiger trying to get around Toni Kroos, one German international on another.
He has to get back. He has to get back. Funnily enough, that was clever by Kroos. He threw himself into Rudiger there. Rudiger, he felt him coming behind. He knew he wasn't going to get away from him, so he threw himself back into Toni Rudiger and got a very, very cheap but clever free kick there. There was a moment there, when you seen the Kroos free kick on N'Golo Kante, I mean, he just leathered him across both legs. Didn't go down, he still kept on running. I don't think another player in the game would have stayed up there.
Vinicius wide left for Madrid, the flag up against him actually. It will be a free kick in that right back spot.
Dealt quite well with him so far. We know he's got phenomenal pace, but eagle-eyed assistant referee was millimetres offside, but it was offside.
Correct call. Yes, very tight indeed. Christensen safety first over on that far side. Somehow that didn't go out of play. Azpilicueta's rather sliced an awkward bouncer into his own box there. Thiago Silva improvised, and it's a very scrappy bit of head tennis here and a few half volleys, and it's ended up back where it came from. Vinicius wide on the left. What a mess that was. Modric infield to Toni Kroos. Half an hour to play in this first leg. This is more what we expected. Less entertaining, but a bit more professional football.
At this level, semi-final of the Champions League. And, I mean, I'm not complaining about it because we watched this game to be entertained. And we were certainly entertained in the first half. But there's one or two players. Well, that's a surprising sight we're just seeing just now. And it's Azpilicueta down with what looks like cramp. We have not a bad replacement if needed.
He just dived in to put it out of play with Modric. Reece James is the player to whom Pat is referring there. But in terms of bench activity, there's a certain Monsieur Hazard about to join proceedings by the looks of things with half an hour to go.
I can see the thinking, Ben.
And so is Reece James, and so is Hakim Ziyech.
Well, they're going for it. I mean, they do it the odd 60 minutes. They've been thinking, then they think, OK, let's make the move.
And do you think that Tuchel is doing James because he's seen Hazard?
I think there's a real possibility of that, yeah.
Might it have happened anyway?
A little bit of tiredness creeping into Azpilicueta's game just now. He's shown there's a little bit of a possible cramp there. By the way, was that thunder?
I think it was. He's just passed it infield, Azpilicueta, and Casemiro picked it up. Of course, he could go infield to his normal position and Christensen come off, but I doubt it'll be that after he's been motoring up as a wing-back. It's into the chest of Benzema here. 30 yards out, dead centre. He's passed it to Azpilicueta, and there is Christensen calmly clipping it to Pulisic on the far side there, and back to Azpilicueta. Nicely moved, Chelsea.
The other thing about it, you know, if you've got Hazard on your bench, is Zidane, you're thinking, look, he's not full of energy, but if we get control of the game, then he'll get the ball in good positions in the last third. Now, they've actually had a bit of that for 5 minutes, and I think that's the reason why he thinks, OK, we won't have to do any chasing back, we'll get the ball in the last third. You know, that's exactly the perfect situation for Eden Hazard, but it's whether he's got that explosiveness just now. And, well, he's going to have to get by, I suspect, Reece James, and that ain't easy for anyone.
Now, him, he won't know. Or not nearly so much. I trained with him a tiny bit in the summers. Azpilicueta is one of his best mates. He knows him backwards. Ziyech and Reece James definitely coming on. Oh, hang on, and Havertz. He's going treble.
Wow.
Remember, you've got 3 junctures, you can make 5, can't you, in Europe?
Yeah.
So he's not going all out because there's half an hour. He can make a couple more if he needs to. Here's Carvajal on the left side of the Chelsea box. The right back, he's given it away as well. Pulisic, off you go. Marcelo has lunged in and brought him down. And I thought he could have been yellow carded earlier, Marcelo. He's going to be yellow carded now. Absolutely outrageous, cynical challenge. One of those. He's gone, he's past me. And it's Pulisic, inevitably.
I mean, he turns around, he's got the cheek to say to the referee, I'm not sure it was it. Honestly, mad. And there is our old boy on.
Vinicius off, Eden Hazard on. A substitute at the weekend. Do you know, it's only his 26th league appearance, that, in his 2 seasons as a Real Madrid player. 26. Treble change coming from Chelsea. We know how much we love Eden, and I wish him all the best, just not for the next half an hour or next week. Meanwhile, Pulisic has been chopped for the last time in this competition. For now. At some point, but Ziyech, James and Havertz all coming on. Treble change for Chelsea. The players coming off will be presumably Pulisic and Werner. Yes, there is Timo Werner and Azpilicueta, I guess. Let's have a look. We'll see if Jorginho takes the armband. One German for another up top. And it is Azpilicueta.
Yeah, absolute total sense about those changes there. Pulisic had actually run his socks off there, and he ran himself into the ground. And of course, he's been hacked all over the place yet again. he's not exactly run out of gas, but we could do with a little bit more energy up there. And let's hope we can get a little bit further up the field now. So for the last 10 minutes or so, I think there's a slight domination growing with Real Madrid. Expected it at some point in the game. So those changes, big changes. Let's hope the players can get up to the pace of it quickly.
Of the ball, you mean, in terms of domination? It's not like Mendy's been being...
No, just they've got territorial. Yeah, absolute territorial.
Now Ziyech inside Real territory, and here's Mason Mount from the left. There's a ball on here to Havertz, so I think was just onside. Here he is left side for Chelsea, this near side as we look at it. They're attacking the goal to our left. Havertz has it infield to Jorginho, who is indeed now wearing the armband after Azpilicueta went off. Havertz just drifts past a challenge, and Christensen now gives it to the newly arrived Reece James. Into Conte. Rain has got heavier again. Now Jorginho bang in the middle of the Real Madrid half. There's exactly a quarter of this first leg to go. 67 on the clock.
We've just upped the tempo, haven't we? The three have come on, we've just upped the tempo. We've pushed the ball up the other side of the field. There's a nice little zip about the passing again. Havertz has come in and looked really confident and cocky about it, hasn't he?
Just looking as they slot in there. This looks like Marcelo playing on the left of the five again, or maybe he's just doing his job and tucking in.
Yeah, he's just
because
pushed
Reece
back.
James is a threat there.
Yeah, Reece James has actually pushed him back the first time he's got the ball, so he's no choice, he has to get back there. He won't be enjoying that. I think Marcelo will hate playing against Reece James.
It's a non-contest and he's just been carded. I'd play on that if I'm Chelsea. Here is Ziyech, Chilwell, nice turn, Mount, edge of the box. Oh, little drop of the shoulder, left-footed shot off Rafael Varane. Cannon's back out again, Rudiger 30 yards out. Ben Chilwell on Chelsea left wing. Since making those changes, Chelsea have had the ball near the Real Madrid final third almost relentlessly.
Yeah, good changes so far. It's kind of worked. You know, energy up front, you know, pushing beyond players, getting the ball, zipping it in. Ziyech always wanting to go on the ball. Havertz looking really confident. Good to see this change has worked quite well so far.
Ziyech coming short to collect from Chilwell. It's still patient though from Chelsea, doing all their work between about 40 yards and about 20 yards out. And just shuffling across Real Madrid. And you might remember in the Porto game this happened, and eventually Jorginho slid that through to Mason Mount, who turned his striker. Can Chelsea poke a little hole in here? Reece James with the cross from the right in towards Ziyech, headed out by Varane, kept alive by the head of N'Golo Kante, but it's out of play. Left side throw for Marcelo, probably. He'll be pleased he's not having to watch Reece James running.
And Mason Mount is a little bit unlucky there. He's had another shot on target. And, you know, when the changes were being made, honestly, I was silently inside saying, leave Mason Mount on. Please leave Mason Mount on. And his energy has been absolutely superb in this game. We could really do with him staying on. And the referee's given a free kick against Chilwell. That's nonsense.
For a handball, I think. It was flipped up, and it might even have hit his hand. But I mean, that is never handball. They've got that by appealing Real Madrid. That's one of those, you know, when you see it in the box nowadays and they no longer give penalties for it. Well, he has just given it outside the box. Is Eden Hazard on the ball for the first time, far side, left side, and dispossessed immediately by Kai Havertz. Nicely done.
So surprised that Eden's struggling to chase back there after losing the ball, but that's not his job tonight. His job is to, you know, cause Chelsea problems down that left-hand side there, or right-hand side. Eventually, at some point, Christensen's going to have a one-on-one with him, so that'll be a big test.
The consensus in Spain seems to be one of the reasons he has struggled is because Zidane has asked more of him defensively, and that hasn't gone down well, not necessarily in terms of attitude, but as in that's had an effect on his performances and his fitness, which perhaps he was maybe allowed, not necessarily under Mourinho, but allowed to be a little bit more, I'm going to say the word lazy for want of a better phrase, a little more picky and choosy about when he ran and when he didn't.
There's an old school attitude of you need to put it in so that you've got it in there in the bank. In pre-season, you need to have a really good pre-season, you need to work incredibly hard, and it's there and you can draw on that. And Eden didn't always have that.
Here's Ziyech. He might hit this, or he might pull it across the face of goal. He sort of did the latter. It's drifted beyond Kai Havertz and out of play. It's a goal kick. The rain coming down hard again. 71 played. That's a half chance to do something, wasn't it?
That's a great ball as far as I'm concerned. If you're a player in that sort of situation there, and you put the ball in between the centre-back and the goalkeeper, you've done your job. It's up to the centre-forward to get there, and Kai just wasn't at the level of it there. It was in the sort of area, but it was a good 2 or 3 yards away from it.
It may just be coincidence. I've just seen a second 50. Havertz beat Havertz and Christensen came and nipped in there ahead of him for the second. That might just be circumstance, but we'll have a look. Here is Nacho on the far side, just inside the Chelsea half, into Benzema and back again.
Yeah, play by both teams just now. You know, this is such a hard one to call. I mean, we've said it, the build up to the game, but right at this point in time, this game, and I noticed that half time was 50-50 in terms of possession. I think we had the better areas of possession, but at the moment this game is knife edge, absolute knife edge.
Hazard in a tight squeeze on the far side, infield to Marcelo, loses out to Mason Mount. Marcelo and Modric finding out just what a tough proposition he is to play against. Chelsea have worked this quite brilliantly. Ziyech and Eder Militao comes across with a really important piece of defending. He can't stop it going behind for the corner, but the way Chelsea played that from right wing to getting into an attacking tight triangle was quite excellent.
Actually, the neat little 1-2s all the way from the start of the game coming from that right hand side have been exceptional, and it doesn't seem to matter who it is involved. Pulisic and involved Ziyech in the first half, they've gone off. It's still happening, just different personnel. Really neat play up that right hand side.
Reece James is right on Thibaut Courtois here. Those two won't know each other. It's going to be a right-sided corner, far side, so an outswinger. This will be from Mason Mount. There isn't a short option. There are 6 Chelsea players in that box. In it comes from Mount towards Rudiger. Militao got his head on it. He's defended pretty well. It might even count as a shot on target. It's a pretty comfortable grab for Thibaut Courtois. He's the sort that might have meant something like that, a big dipping half volley like that.
I think he did. I absolutely think he did. He forgot one thing though. The keeper's 6
for everything, yeah. 9'3".
It's a big old one to get round, and but yeah, putting it back into a dangerous area there. I think the centre half may have been a bit disappointed because they were still up there and wanted to attack across.
Zinedine Zidane bends down and picks the ball up. Slightly disappointed he didn't do some outrageous bit of skill to collect it. He's about to make further changes from his bench, I think, here. Maybe more than one, actually. I can see Asensio, and he's not the only one. Meanwhile, Benzema here, right in front of him, chased all the way back there by Jorginho. Don't foul him. Neat little Cruyff turn from Benzema, and they've worked that very well. And now he's got N'Golo Kanté for company, and then Tony Rudiger coming in with the challenge. Real ball in front of the Tuchel dugout. Are they going to make that change now?
I mean, it's interesting to watch Benzema. You know, he's in there and working back. When he does work back, he looks fantastic, but he picks and chooses his times, doesn't he? He doesn't do it all the time. I mean, he makes sure his energy's all there when the ball comes in the box the vast majority of the time. And another dangerous half opportunity for him here from free kick.
75th minute, Benzema lurking. Tony Rudiger is near him. Kroos to deliver in towards. It's actually Varane who's controlled it. Right foot on the far side of the box. He meant that. But he's got Christensen tight to him. Ricochets behind, far side, left wing Real Madrid corner. They've got Odriozola about to come on, and I think Asensio. But how about that for a bit of control, Pat?
I don't think the centre halves are allowed to do that, as far as I'm concerned. Control there for Varane. He is a classy player, to be fair.
15 to play. Real corner. Kroos delivers. Oh, Nacho was up there, and Casemiro too, and Benzema on the volley into Reece James. That's quite a sizable obstacle. Here's Marcelo, dead centre, 20 yards. Jorginho. Nacho rolls it on. Here's Hazard. Lays it back. Luka Modric, dead centre, bang in the middle of the Chelsea half now, and then he just clips it delightfully back to Kroos on that far side, who will square it back towards him. Mounts on his case again. Modric enjoyed the hounding he's Mount tonight. Reece James away from a couple of challenges, but Eder Militao was strong. Now it's out of play. That'll be a Chelsea left-back throw for Ben Chilwell, but I think that's change time, is it, for Real Madrid?
Good defending there, by the way. The efforts that were put in by the Chelsea defence there was fantastic. Not really had to put up with that much stress and pressure all the way through the game, but on that occasion, held up strong, as they have many times this season.
Carvajal off and Marcelo off, with Alvaro Odriozola and Marco Asensio on. Asensio scored in the home game here against Atalanta and against Liverpool, pouncing on that error.
I think it's quite a positive change for them.
It is.
Asensio, he'll play a little bit further forward, and to be honest, it's hard to know. Marcelo's, I've no idea where he's playing tonight, to be fair. He's everywhere. He just kind of makes it up as he goes along. He's a classic Brazilian player, isn't he? He's a beach player. Which I don't see that in a negative way, may I add. Brilliant play.
Work round the corner, and Conte releasing now. Havertz, down that right channel, who is fouled by Varane right on the edge of the box, well right of centre. Oh, if Marcos Alonso was here, I still wouldn't mind, but there is a bloke called Ziyech.
Yeah, he's not bad as well. By the way, the play there was absolutely fantastic. I mean, he stood on his foot there, so that's... and you wonder why that's not a yellow card there. It must have been tempting for the referee. That's just ridiculous. He's made some strange decisions. It really helped Chelsea a lot there. Oh, can I take that back immediately? He's just pulled his yellow card out, like he should have done.
Varane booked. And this, I mentioned earlier, the following in. Yes, it's not easy handling this. So even if Courtois is able to, get a long hand or a big hand or a long arm, should I say, out to a